The Holmfirth Battalion of Volunteers owes its ancestry to the Huddersfield Rifle Volunteers, formed in 1859 as a reaction to Napoleon II, who was making a strong bid for European supremacy. In 1883, the battalion was renamed the 2nd Volunteer Battalion, the Duke of Wellington's West Riding Regiment, as we see here, carved on the side of the drill hall in Holmfirth. In 1908, this 2nd Volunteer Battalion was divided once more to form the 5th Battalion, the Duke of Wellington's Regiment in Huddersfield, with companies at Holmfirth, Mirfield and Kirkburton. The first home of the volunteers was in the Druids' Hall on Station Road, now known today as the Masonic Lodge. They stayed here until 1891, when the new drill hall on the Huddersfield Road was completed. This drill hall passed into the ownership of Holmfirth Parish Council in 1947, when it was renamed the Holme Valley Civic Hall. What to be seen in the Civic Hall today are plaques commemorating sacrifices made by the volunteers in the Boer War and in the First World War. In this photograph, we see Colour Sergeant John Lawton outside the Holmfirth Drill Hall with a German gun captured during the First World War. John Lawton joined the West Riding Regiment in 1862, and he served in the Holmfirth Company for over 26.5 years. He eventually reached the rank of Colour Sergeant and received a Long Service Medal, and he was allowed to retain his uniform, which we see him wearing here. In his retirement years, he played a leading role in helping to finance the building of the new drill hall. He was appointed official treasurer in 1884 and is on record of having collected over £1,000. He was buried with full military honours at Holmfirth on Wednesday, May the 12th, 1926. This photograph from the archives, probably dated early 1915, shows members of the volunteer battalion perhaps setting off now on the first leg of the journey to France and the trenches. The transport is being provided by vehicles from Albert Mill at Crown Bottom. In the interwar years, the drill hall in Holmfirth continued to be used, but as war approached and the battalion became more mechanised, it became clear that it was no longer fit for purpose. Space was needed to store and service vehicles, and so a new site was picked at Thongsbridge, and the new drill hall was completed in 1939, just in time, you might say. Both during and following the Second World War, it fulfilled a number of functions. For example, in 1940, it was the home of a searchlight regiment. Immediately after the war, the Holmfirth Territorials found it increasingly difficult to recruit new members. This is not surprising, perhaps, since for all fit youths over the age of 18, 2 years national service was now compulsory. The drill hall was closed for Territorial Army purposes in the mid-1960s due to the reorganisation of the Territorial Army, but it continued as the home of the local cadet force for some years, and the drill hall was used solely as a rifle range for some time after that. In 1968, the Territorial Army was placed into what was called suspended animation, and units were reduced in strength. The drill hall was then sold off to a Scottish clothing manufacturer called Castix in 1968. Some people may remember the drill hall during the 1970s as something of a social centre where dances, etc. took place. Castix went into receivership in 2001 with the loss of some 50 jobs, and after that the drill hall was left to decline and become increasingly ruinous and unkempt. This state of affairs lasted until the autumn of 2018, when the building and the whole site was purchased by the German supermarket giant Aldi as the site for a new supermarket in Holmfirth. The building was very rapidly demolished, the ground cleared, and during the winter of 2018-2019, the new supermarket rapidly took shape and was opened bang on cue on May the 9th, 2019. The following slides provide a photographic record of this construction, aided and abetted by a very mild winter. One link, however, with its military past still remains. The building next to the supermarket remains the home of the Holmfirth Army and RAF cadets. This building was once the garage of the drill hall. Much more information on the Duke of Wellington's regiments, the volunteers and the Territorial Army can be obtained online at their website or directly at Bankfield Museum in Halifax.